Nate Aldrich, Akron Media Journal. Hey, Tavari, can you just walk us through what it was like coming out of halftime when you guys had control and they rallied? How did you guys kind of respond to that in your interactions with each other? And what do you think it says about you guys that you were able to kind of really withstand that?
We just stayed calm and stayed together. There was a lot of positive talks. We know they're a really good team. We know they were going to make a run. Every team in basketball makes a run every game. It's inevitable. We knew it was going to happen, but we didn't panic. We stayed together, and we kept going one possession at a time.
Back right.
It was definitely a big moment. Honestly, like, Coach put me in a position to make a play, and I'm just, like, grateful that I did. Obviously, a lot of hard work goes into that, and then I was just thanking for the trust in me to put me in that position, so definitely a grateful moment.
Aiden Brooke, Letter Media Network. This goes for anybody. You guys held Leonardo Gillespie to 0 for 3 in the first half. The only points he had scored in the first half were 5 free throws. Do you guys have any comments on what it took to make that happen and how you guys responded to when he let it fly in the second half?
I mean, he's a great player, obviously, one of the best players in our league. So we just kept working on just trying to stay disciplined, try not to send him to the free throw line by staying solid, but just trying to make everything tough for him, his catches, trying to push him out so that he's not as close where he can just drop step and make it easier on them. So just with good players, all you can do is make it harder on them. So that's what we tried to do, and it obviously worked out a little bit, worked out really well, but obviously he's a really good player.
It's special. Something we're going to remember forever. Something we're not going to take for granted. Our last time not only playing together, but playing in Cleveland and for the Zip. So it's going to be a good time tomorrow.
Allison Tarlagos, Beacon Journals. For any of you guys, how does it feel that you guys are going back to the championship?
It's a great feeling. You know, we've done a lot of good things in the past, but obviously it's a different tournament every year. So it's an honor to get and make it to the championship and to play in it. Our coach does a good job. He's experienced in leading us and taking us to the championship. As seniors, it's our job to lead our team to win one game at a time.
Anything to add?
That was so good.
Right.
Nate Aldrich, Akron Media Journal. Monty, can you walk us through what you thought of Shama's 3 with 150 left, and then the sequence where you were able to connect with Evan for an alley? What kind of feeling did you have in those moments?
Obviously, I have a lot of trust in Shama. I think we all do. In taking big shots, late clock shots, game time shots. He does it all the time in practice and in games. So it wasn't like a surprise. I was just very excited after he hit it, and just to see how confident he was and just the emotion he had after. I think it brought the team up and gave us a lot of momentum. And then down the floor, I mean, the pass to Evan, we broke the press, and I just know to be aggressive because we have numbers down the floor. I seen Ev in the corner, so I'm like, I'm going to attack and just throw it to him. I know he's a good athlete. He's going to go up and get it.
That's your best pass.
Best pass of your career.
Literally, though.
What a catch, though, in the finish. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was a good catch.
Oh, no, dude. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Nah, the catches. I would have got them, too.
Right middle.
Sean Wick, WZIP. For any of you guys, coming out of the second half, you guys kind of hit a wall offensively. Just how'd you guys get back in it? Kind of got in within one possession. How'd you guys just get the offense back running and hold that lead for the second half?
We just kept taking good shots for our team. They weren't going in, but that's not something we worried about, whether we make or miss. We worried about the quality of the shot, and if it's a good shot for the person that's taking it. And we felt like we kept doing that, and we kept getting stops, and it turned out our way.
Back right.
This one for Shama. Yeah, playing at home pretty much. I see you show a lot of emotions. It was a little extra fire playing in front of your people. Probably more family than season.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, like, a lot of emotions going into this game. It's already a rivalry game, and it's just seeing, like, my whole family in the crowd, and it's just playing this game with my teammates. Like, it's definitely a lot of emotions, and I didn't want to go home tonight. So, yeah.
Front right.
Nate Aldrich, Akron Media Journal. Shama, even before that 3 with 150 left, there were a couple of moments where it looked like Kent State might turn the corner and take the lead for the first time in the second half, and you stepped up and made shots and some of those tight moments. Like, how much pride do you take in when it gets close, when it gets tense like that, and being calm and being able to be clutch?
Obviously that's one of my roles on the team is like being a playmaker. So is Savari, Evan, and a couple other guys on the team. So I just want to like provide that for my team. Just be there, like show calmness. I'm a senior. I'm an older guy on the team, so I just want to show everybody like it's gonna be runs in the game. It's gonna be ups and downs, but we have no need to panic or worry. Just stay consistent and like do what we do.
Right middle.
Liam Rigmore, WZIP. It seemed like there was times on the court when emotions started to flare for the other team. You guys did a great job of controlling that. Can you guys speak to just how you guys get together as a team and really control your emotions when things are on the high?
We know when we play Kent, that's just how it's going to be. It's going to be a physical game. A lot of emotions go in and out the game. Just knowing the situation and where we're at as a team, just keeping our guys together was very important. We were in foul trouble. We didn't want a guy to pick up a silly foul because of that. And Coach did a good job at reminding us just to stay composed and just play our game.
Questions for student athletes. Front right.
Evan, I haven't asked you a question.
That's all good. Though.
Just you guys played Toledo once
Mhm.
this season at your place.
Mhm.
What, I know you don't. One time's one time.
Mhm.
What do you know about them? What do you think about the matchup? And just like, what do you think heading in? You guys have to do better than you did tonight to come out the way you want.
I know we're all excited for the matchup. Obviously, it's a championship game. Playing a team we only got to play once in the regular season, but I think we're really excited to showcase on that level. But also thinking back, just off of little things I saw from like how they've been playing. I know their guards are playing really, really well right now. So it'd be really about containing their guards and trying to make them have to make tough shots and tough plays. So I think like off of really not watching film on them, I think that's something big that we'll have to look into do over these next few hours getting ready for that game. And obviously play hard. Do what we do best. Just play hard, be consistent, and take good shots, play good defense.
I got time for one or two more. Max. You guys good? Any more questions for student athletes?
Yeah, you can sit right there. So I always tell her March 13th, 2015 was one of the greatest days of my life. So she had her birthday. She was disappointed I couldn't go to dinner with her last night because we were busy preparing for this one. So I told her I owe her. But in terms of the game, obviously physical, competitive, tough, what you'd expect of an Akron-Kent game. I said before the game to our radio people, it really doesn't matter when you play this game, whether it's played in a driveway, a park, whether it's at their place, our place, or Rocket Arena. I mean, it's going to be physical, competitive. The desire, I thought, from both teams was super high. I've got a lot of respect for how they played and just the consistency that Rob's teams have had now for such a long time. All the winning and, the way that they play. You have to play every possession. Obviously I was really concerned about the glass coming into tonight, and they ended up pounding us pretty good with 21 offensive rebounds. We overcome it a little bit with some defense, some timely shot making, and did a pretty good job of taking care of the ball because they're also good in that area too. They force a lot of turnovers, and then you really get walloped in the possession battle. If they get you on the glass and in the turnover department, then you're in real trouble. So, our guys did a pretty good job of taking care of it.
Questions for Coach? Front left.
Coach Aidenbrook, Leonard Media Network. Coach Centeroff said yesterday in his press conference it's the best Akron team he's ever coached against. What do you have to say for that, and what does it mean for him to tell the press, hey, this is the best Akron team I have ever coached against?
Well, I think we have to be humbled by that, right? Because we've had some really, really good teams with some really, really good players. So there's a lot of guys that, I think about. I say this all the time when I'm sitting up here. I think about 2020, and I think about those guys a lot that were, outright champions by 2 games. COVID hit, and those guys didn't get to play. But those are the guys that kind of started this whole deal. We call them the Trailblazer class, with Jackson and Riak and, Cheese, Banks, Williams, all those guys. They didn't get an opportunity to do it. So it makes me, when I think about that, it makes me really reflect on how grateful we should be to get the opportunity to compete in a venue like this, in a tournament like this, and not to take that for granted. But, I appreciate his comments. I mean, I feel great about our team too. I love our team. I think statistics show that no matter where you look at. You can look at net or Ken Palm or defensive rating, offensive rating, assist rate, raw offensive efficiency. I think we're right behind Illinois and Purdue coming into the tournament. So we've done a lot. And then our defense has really been the area that's grown by leaps and bounds. Our defense right now is at a different place than it was in December. And so our guys have really worked at that to make us a more consistent and more complete basketball team. But, humbled by his comment.
Front right.
Nate Ulrich, Akron, John, obviously Kent State came out second half with a big rally. What did you think of your team's response, and kind of what were the keys to being able to set yourself?
Yeah, I thought, obviously we didn't have some quality offensive possessions there to start the second half, and I thought that injured our defense a little bit. Now, Kent had something to do with that. I thought they came out, again, very physical, tough, made it hard on us and turned some of our, wasted offensive possessions a little bit that we had the first 4 minutes into points for them on their offensive end. So that got them kind of going, and then obviously the game at that point seemed like it was about, anywhere from, I think they got as close as one possession, but anywhere from 1 to 3 or 4 possessions maybe after that initial body blow they delivered to start the second half. But like the guys just told you, it's Akron Kent. I mean, it's supposed to be hard. I tell them that all the time. Like my old college coach, whose past was a great man and a great coach, he used to say, good is hard and hard is good. Remember that. Tell your guys that. This isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be hard. And so, I think our guys are accustomed to about every situation we try to prepare them for. And they know the number one thing is to have next play speed. And we talk about that all the time. And I thought that was the thing that stood out to me more than anything else today, Nate, was our ability to have next play speed regardless of the circumstance that we were in throughout the game.
Back right.
Yeah. No, he's special dude. Just, the huddles, all those different things. He really leads in the huddle. He doesn't change his disposition, whether he makes or misses a shot. It's maturity. There's a lot of guys. He hasn't shot the ball great up here. He's more than capable. He has done it all year. But he doesn't allow that to affect the defensive end. He does not allow that to affect his leadership. He doesn't allow that to affect his rebounding. He's got a tough mindset about him. I absolutely love coaching him.
Right middle.
Sean Wick, WZIP. Monty and Evan had the matchup against Gillespie today, the really tough matchup. Just what was your opinion on how they did tonight?
They battled. He's a stud. I mean, the guy leads the nation in double-doubles. You know how hard that is to do? Good Lord. I had one of those a few years ago, and he did it 1 year. I mean, it's hard, man. He's really good player. And so you've got to try to – you can't let him get to his spots. If he does that, he's very effective. And then he's so fast twitch athletically that he gets that second jump and gets you on the defensive end with shot blocks. And on the offensive end, he gets you with extra possessions right on the offensive glass that he digs out either where he scores or he helps his team get a great shot. Sometimes those lead to what we call dagger threes. Yeah, he's a load, and he really competes, and he's physical, but great on the glass, obviously, and certainly, as those guys told you, we have great respect for him. He's one of the better players in our league and the country when you lead the nation in double-doubles.
Back right.
Yeah, no, it's huge, right? You got to have depth, especially when you're in tournament play, but just in general. And Shama's ability to, sacrifice and make the commitment to make us a better team in that role, I think speaks a lot about who he is. And our guys know it, too. They respect it and appreciate it from him. But, we say he came off the bench, and tonight he played 33 minutes. So, he was big for us tonight. Obviously made the big shot there off the play we ran after the timeout. And But when he makes those shots, he does the same thing in practice. He's done the same thing in games throughout his career. You know, you're not surprised.
I got time for one or two more. Yeah, right middle.
What are the big things that you guys just really need to improve on going into the championship game tomorrow?
Well, we're always looking to improve, right? So even after yesterday's game, we started out today's meeting with, hey, here's the 3 or 4 cleanup areas from the game defensively. Here's the 3 or 4 offensively. We'll do the same thing tomorrow after we get a chance to watch the film, and we try to pick out things maybe that might pertain to the next game so that we get a little, you know, double dip, so to speak. But, you know, obviously the glass. You know, we don't like to give up 21 offensive rebounds. That's usually not a good formula. So we got to be better there than what we were today. I thought we did a pretty good job of taking care of the ball. I thought our guys, you know, did a good job offensively of flowing into what we wanted to do and shared the ball with each other and took pretty good shots. You know, we missed some free throws. You know, that happens. But, you know, I thought all in all we did some good things. You know, obviously the poise was the thing that stood out the most.
Left middle.
Travis Nelson, News Herald. Coach, just talk about the atmosphere tonight. I mean, I feel like it's got to be rare in the country to have 2 rivals playing from the site.
Yeah.
You know, with so much on the line.
With 11,000 people, yeah, that's pretty rare. You know, to have teams that close to obviously the venue. And Cleveland does such a great job. You know, obviously I've had 2 different stints in the league, and I always say this, and I've been around a while and been in different venues and different conference tournaments, but this one's about as good as any of them. They do a great job, the MAC does, of putting it on here. Cleveland really embraces it. And we appreciate everyone that's involved in that. But to have a chance to play a game like that in that environment in Rocket Arena in downtown Cleveland is pretty special.
Last question to Nate, right here.
John, just what's some of your quick thoughts on Toledo from the one time you guys faced them, what you've seen since?
Yeah, the only thing I can tell you, Nate, is it was a long time ago. Let's start there. You know, in basketball years, right? But the one thing, it's interesting, I saw them a little bit yesterday and a little bit today right before our game. I think you'd have to ask Todd, but it appears they're playing the best they played. You know, obviously we had them at home. You know, the development and maybe the emergence of Minor Strong. You know, Sonny Wilson and Blyden, I mean, those guys are all-league guys, right? They're on the all-league teams. You know, Parks is a load inside. You know, Craig gives them versatility inside and outside. Vanderjack gives them a Shema Scott feel, like a starter that can score and make shots and can get double figures, and you know. But the thing that stood out to me, and I got great respect for all those guys, is how Minor Strong played here, and even in some of the films I watched, like one of the most recent games that Buffalo played, for example, before we played Buffalo, was Toledo, and I noticed that as well. And then obviously I got a great coach. He's been doing it a long time. He's won a lot of games, won a lot of championships, does a really good job. It'll be a phenomenal test. You know, obviously we got to get some rest. You know, this one's physical when you play the game we just played. And so we got to get these guys off their feet, get some rest, get them hydrated, get into some of our recovery modalities, and try to get ourselves ready to go and prepared mentally as well. That prep will start tomorrow morning as we get them familiarized with, you know, all of Toledo's personnel, offense, defense. It's a quick turnaround, but we've done it before. It'll be challenging. They're playing well.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach. Ops that are off. Coach.
Yeah, I know I'm supposed to normally talk about the game, and I'll let you guys ask me questions about the game, but while I have these guys here, just want to tell everyone how proud I am of them. The whole team, you know, tough night for us. We didn't play great, but we gave great effort. We played as hard as you can possibly play. You know, Morgan here is in his 3rd year at Kent to play 1 year because of injuries, etc. He's battling 100 injuries to play as hard as he played tonight and all season long. Just really appreciative and thankful of the effort and how competitive he is. And Reeks had, you know, there's a lot of great players that have played at Kent. The season he had in totality, it ranks amongst the best. And, today I'm looking through the game notes, and I'm looking at his freshman year and his sophomore year and even his junior year. And it's like, you look at the explosion of what he's done productive-wise this year. Again, it's a great year in itself, and then you look at how much better he's gotten. Just unbelievably proud and appreciative, not just to them, they're the two that are here, obviously the whole group. We went 24-9. We didn't reach our goal. Only one team reaches their goal, which is winning this deal. It'll be Toledo or Akron tomorrow. We had geared up for this game starting last Sunday, preparing. And we played, and we did what we needed to do. We just didn't make enough shots when it's all said and done. We didn't make enough baskets. So, but there's, nothing for these guys to not feel proud of. We were 14-4 in the league. It's a really good league. I'd like to think we're going to get 2 bids this year. That's what it appears like. So, we went 14-4, and I wish every game that we played against Akron in particular, because we haven't played quite this competitively in the other 2 games. Every game I wish was like this, but tonight we played as hard as we can play, and give them credit. They're a championship team, championship program. And they won the game. So I'll let you ask these guys about the game or about whatever you want, and then I'll answer your questions about the game. But I wanted my statement to be about them and the group.
Thanks, Coach. Questions for Southeast front left?
Mike Popovich, Canada Repository here for Rico Morgan. What was kind of the message between you guys, between the team at halftime, as far as that you guys made a bit of a push at the end of the first half to get it to 12, and then you guys made that run? What was it that you guys felt you needed to do to bring yourselves back?
Just fight and compete. I'm a senior. Reek's been here. We didn't want to go out like that. We knew what we had to do. We had a great game plan going into it. So it was just to fight and play how we knew how to play. The ball didn't go in the hoop as many times as we wanted to. Sometimes that's a game of basketball. So we just try to compete and play as hard as we could for the rest of 20 minutes out there, not having the best first half.
Yeah, just like what Morgan said, we just talked about just playing defense, keep playing defense, but don't let our offense determine our defense. So just keep getting stops and battle back.
Nate Allwork, Akron, you control Morgan and Del Rico. Just for you guys to rally like you did coming out at halftime, and you got it to 1 point, you got it to 2 a couple other times. Just what was when you look back at it, just what did you need to get over the hump that just wasn't quite there? Can you put your finger on it?
Probably more shots that go in the rim. We got a lot of team full of great shooters. Reek's a great player. We got great interior with Rob as well. Sometimes the baskets just don't fall your way. And I feel like that's what happened tonight. It was the opposite yesterday, and today our cards just wasn't in our favor.
Yeah, just like what Morgan said, shots didn't fall. I feel like we followed the game plan to a T defensively. But yeah, get them credit. They hit shots, and our shots didn't fall.
All right.
Josh Zimmerman, Kent State, Rico. Coach, talk a little about your transformation over the past 4 years. What has that been like for you?
Just trying to keep my head down, work hard every summer, and just try to be the best person I can be, but on the court and off the court too.
Dimitri Manousis, Morgan, you had to sit out your first year at Canada. You had the injury last year, and you finally able to play this year. Can you just talk about your time at Kent State and the decision coming here?
My decision to come here was probably one of the best decisions in my life. Coach Indy gave me an opportunity to give me a jump start back in my career. I left Miami, didn't have, for whatever reason, and I needed a revolt to get back to where I was when I was playing at Miami, and Coach Indy gave me the opportunity. So I was extremely grateful for him coming and saving my career and my academics as well. So, I put my head down and worked while I waited. Time was eventually going to come. I got the opportunity to play this year, and so I tried to give him everything I got. We had a moment where we was down 1 today. I said, Coach, I'm going to give you everything I got. I may not hit the side of a barn, but I'm going to give you everything I got. So I'm just grateful for him giving me a home. I'm going to have home forever here at Kent. I got some great relationships with a lot of people. So I'm just extremely grateful for my time here at Kent.
Questions? Yeah, Farrell.
Nate Allwork, Akron, Journal. I wanted to ask you guys about Rob Whaley. Obviously, a big part of your rally. What did you think of the way he was able to help you guys battle back?
Yeah, he really helped us in the second half with his physicality around the rim and finishing around the rim and just being everywhere on the court and flying around defensively. We really got on him at halftime and just told him that we need him, like he's our X factor. So that was really it.
All right. Josh Zimmerman, Kent Stater. Rico, what's it like to play with a family member on such a high stage?
Man, I really enjoyed this ride playing with Rob. I know my mother will be proud. Through the ups and the downs, I really enjoyed it, and I'm grateful that I got to play with my cousin, and I wouldn't want to do it with nobody else.
For either one of you guys, you know, 24-9, what, after the disappointment of this kind of settles, how much would you be looking forward to any postseason opportunities that do come your way so you can continue with what you guys have built this season?
Yeah, I'd be surprised. I don't know, but our metrics, our team is good enough, and I hope that we get a call. Last year, we didn't think we were playing, and we got a call. I'd love for us to get a call, but our metrics over the course of the season just aren't quite where they were last year. So if we get a chance to play, I think they'd be excited to play. But, you know, I'm not as optimistic, and I wasn't optimistic last year, to be honest with you. I dismissed everybody to go. But, you know, if we do get a chance, that would be great. But I'll answer this one for them. But I'm looking at the numbers and saying I don't know that we will. But, you know, we'll make sure our line is open if they call. You know, 24 wins is certainly deserving of a chance.
Any more questions for student athletes? I think.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Coach.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Questions for Coach Senderov? Yeah, Nate.
Rob, just facing Akron 3 times this season, not unusual for you, but what specifically about this Akron team is so tough?
Well, they're tough to guard. Obviously, Tavari is one of the best, you know, probably one of the best guards in the country. Evan Mahaffey's got such a great basketball IQ. You know, he helps everything go for their team. And then, you know, like when you're able to bring Shema Scott off the bench and Sharon Young, you know, when we played him at home, Sharon Young just torched us. So they have, you know, you look at their bench tonight, plus 11, plus 10, plus 9, plus 2 in terms of their minutes. You know, they have depth unlike a lot of teams in our league, or greater than a lot of teams in our league. They have experience. They have great leadership. You know, the coaching staff does a fantastic job. Like in my eyes, this is their best team. Now, you know, I've been thinking back about this today. I think outside of Buffalo, that was ranked in the top, you know, 20 or 25 most of the year, and I don't know what seed they got. But to me, this is the best team that we've played against in my time here that I can remember outside of Buffalo. With all due respect to Miami, who had an unbelievable season and again, I think is deserving of playing in the NCAA tournament. You know, in my eyes, you know, we've played them both. Akron's the better team, in my opinion. And I say that with all due respect to Miami, and what they accomplished is unbelievable, but what these guys accomplished is unbelievable. You know, to go in our league 17-1, now they're 18-19-1. You put the 2 years together, 40 some odd and 2 or whatever it might be. Like, there's very few teams have had a stretch like this in our conference's history. You know, the guys develop. I'm sure John would say about Tavari and Amani very similar to what I would say about Rico. I said that the last time we played them. You know, so they're tough, and they have a ton of versatility, and defensively, you know, they're really good defensively. I'm going to sit here and feel like, boy, we had so many great opportunities that we just didn't make. but they've been great metrically defensively all year. So you got to give them credit for that. That probably played a part in why we didn't make it. They did have 6 blocks, as I looked at it here, like 6 shots got blocked at the rim. You know, so they did a good job. I mean, they're a good team, very good team.
All right.
Coach, if you're able, could you give your thoughts on the officiating tonight?
The officials, those guys worked their tails off. I may have been upset with a call here or there, and I'm sure their coach was upset with a call here or there, but those guys worked their tails off. I could sit here and say, I thought they called one, you know, late, and it was probably a big call, but I can't sit here and say that it was the wrong call. I haven't watched the film to think if it was even the wrong call or right call. You know, I thought those guys, everybody's working hard. Nobody's trying to mess something up. Like those guys are tonight, they were working hard. Whether they were great or not great, I don't know, but I'm not sitting here in any way, shape, or form thinking the officiating is what did us in at all. So, you know, I think that sometimes when you're a fan, because I'm a fan of sports too, you know, sometimes you look at it and feel like, oh, they missed it or it's against us. These guys are all pros. Was I happy with every call? No. Did I think they were trying their best to do the best they could, just like our players were trying their best, just like their players, just like our coaches, their coaches? Yeah, they were trying their best. So if they miss something of substance, I'll watch it, you know, and I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at our team and saying, boy, there was a couple shots that I wish we could have made. Couple plays I wish we could have made, and give them credit. You know, Shema Scott hit a couple huge threes. They got a couple big offensive rebounds. You know, they made a couple plays that boy, good, heck of a job by them. You know, heck of a job by them, because we had them on the ropes and we had a chance. And had we not played so poorly in the first half, we just felt, to me, it was like our offense, we were just tight offensively in the first half. We may not have scored or shot the ball well in the second half, but we didn't play tight offensively in the second half. We just played. And I thought we played better because of it. We scored 40 points, and we gave ourselves a chance, a couple chances, not a chance, a couple chances. Just didn't make the play when we needed to, and then they did.
Back right.
Coach Morgan talked about his experience here and how you gave him kind of a second chance. What has he meant to you, and how does his play and effort embody the program you've created?
Just a competitor, you know, an incredibly competitive guy that cares about winning. You know, and all of these guys, our locker room, it's funny because there's times during the year where I feel like, boy, these guys, when the season ends, they just can't wait for it to end. Like, there's times I have felt that way because I felt like we haven't played as hard as I want us to play. You know, Central Michigan at home is one of those games. I mean, there's a couple of them. Akron at home after the Central game. But tonight, you couldn't be more committed to winning. We just didn't make enough plays. You know, again, guy missed a shot. It was not trying to. There was no selfishness, nothing involved to it. Just everybody was trying to win. Everybody wanted to win. Everybody was devastated after the game. Some guys taking blame that, like, literally have no reason to take blame, feeling like they let the team down. So, you know, as a coach, you want to win every game. You certainly want to win this game. You certainly want to win the conference championship. But, like, you know, I take a little bit, I say this, not a ton, the satisfaction would be in winning, but a little bit of satisfaction that they cared so much about winning. Because, again, that's what I'm trying to do is have a program where guys like Morgan care, and guys like Reek, and then whoever is back here next year and whoever's added into the program, that they care about trying to win for each other, you know, for our university, for our program, but most importantly for each other. So, you know, he's been great to have, and he'll be missed.
I got time for a couple more. Right middle.
Arnie Brago from the Sports Network. I mean, despite the loss, I mean, what is it like to coach in an environment like this?
Yeah, great. And you know, the rivalry, the only thing about the rivalry that makes it good is because you get more fans, because it's local. Like, if this game were If the tournament were held in Detroit, I don't know. There'd be fans, but it wouldn't be quite as great for the Kent Akron. We're centrally located for most teams. Toledo will have their fans here tomorrow. Outside of UMass, who's an outside our region, the tournament being in Cleveland allows all these fans to get here, and the environment is great because of that, and because we're so close to Cleveland is what makes it awesome. And you get to play in it's do or die. They're playing for the NCAA tournament. We're playing, like, everything's on the line here. It's not like the Big Ten, whoever's playing in the semifinals, they're playing in the NCAA tournament. So the care factor is not quite as intense as it is in leagues like ours, and in our league, with it being in this venue and our proximity and their proximity, it makes for an awesome environment, and it just it's heartbreaking for me that we didn't win, but somebody's going to not win. And at halftime I was really disappointed, not disappointed, I was angry at a couple guys that I didn't think, like, they weren't here for the fight, but everybody was here for the fight in the second half, everybody, and everybody gave everything they could give to win, and we just didn't. Okay.
My last question, front right.
Josh Zerman consider. It seemed like later in the game when Sion Medley was, especially when he was in foul trouble, not able to play, it seemed like he was very involved in the huddles.
Yeah.
And on the sideline. What is his leadership?
Yeah, he's an unbelievable leader. He's a great kid. He cares about the right stuff. And I hope that he's here for his senior year, would be next year. So, you never know with anybody, and everybody, at some point I'll have to have meetings with everybody, just like every coach does with every player in the country nowadays. It's just different. But, he's had an awesome season. He set the single season assist record in school history. He's been a tremendous, tremendous leader, and he's great to coach because he brings a positive energy to the group, And for me, the way I coach, I need a point guard who is in the huddles doing the stuff he's doing. That's just me. That's what I need. Some coaches need different stuff out of their point guards. That's what I need. So he's been awesome for me as a coach, to be able to, trust in him what we're doing. Again, wasn't good enough tonight, but it wasn't for a lack of care, and it wasn't for a lack of wanting to win. Just we didn't make enough shots when it's all said and done. We just didn't, and he was one of them. He didn't make enough, but okay, what can you do? All of them. You look at the board. I mean, Dez made 2 of 3. I think they were layups, so he made enough. Nobody else did, and that's all right, because that's part of the game. That's part of the game.